What is going on, Cowboys Nation? We are live and we are coming to you straight from Radio Row here at the NFL Combine, and I cannot tell you how fired up I am to be doing this show with you all today. Before we get into everything, and trust me, we have got a ton to cover, I need you to do something for me real quick. If you are part of this Cowboys family, if you are here grinding through this offseason with us waiting for this team to finally turn things around, then hit that subscribe button right now. We are putting out content every single day during this combine, during free agency, all the way through the draft. And I do not want you missing any of it. Smash subscribe, ring that notification bell, and let us build this thing together because Cowboys Nation deserves a community that shows up every single day. All right, we just got a $5 super thanks coming in from CJ D. Young III, and he says, wow, chat sports at Radio Row. You guys are big time now. Have some fun and enjoy. CJ, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much for the support. And just so everybody knows, we have actually been doing the Radio Row thing for a couple years now. We come out for the Super Bowl, which unfortunately I do not get to attend because the Cowboys do not make it. And we also come out for the NFL Combine. But hey, we are out here grinding. We are out here getting the information, and we are bringing it all back to you. Now, real quick, a $5 super thanks gets you entered into our monthly Chat Sports Gear raffle. And for the rest of this week, we are doing 2-for-1s. So $5 gets you 2 entries. Keep that in mind if you want to support the show and get a chance to win some gear. Let us jump right into the questions because we have got some fire ones coming through. Nick is asking about the logic and hype around trading an all-pro like George Pickens, and also mentions Brandon Aubrey for just a second-round pick. He says he cannot imagine doing that with the risk of ending up with someone like Sam Laporta. No, he said Schoonmaker or Kelvin Joseph or Tristan Hill. He says pay the players, help make the offense number one, point blank, and revamp the defense through free agency and the draft with the picks you have. And look, I mostly agree with Nick here. I really do. Here is where people get confused, though. It is not an either-or situation. You can keep Pickens and build a defense. That is not how this works. You should and can and will do both, or at least you should be trying to do both. That is the goal here. Trading Pickens for a second-round pick does not interest me at all, and let me tell you why. If you make that trade, guess what you have to do now? You have to go spend that second-round pick on a receiver because you just created a hole at the position. So yeah, you save some money. That part is valid, but then you are kind of stuck in a spot you do not want to be in. You traded a proven all-pro receiver for a dart throw at the position. That math does not add up to me. Now, Aubrey is a little bit different because we are talking about a second-round pick for a kicker. And look, I love Brandon Aubrey. I think he is the best in the NFL. But realistically, I do not think any team is going to offer a second-round pick for a kicker. And I definitely do not think anyone is offering 2 first-round picks for Pickens while he is on the franchise tag. That is just not happening in the real world. William Cook coming through with a comment saying it may have taken 30 years mortality and the success of 2 teams suspending free agency, but he hopes the Cowboys sign quality free agents. And honestly, William, I am right there with you. I need to see it before I am fully convinced it is going to happen, but I will say this. It definitely feels different than those all-in comments we got from Jerry Jones a couple years ago where nothing actually happened. There is a different energy right now, but we will see if it translates to actual moves. Sinjin Kennedy with a great draft question here. He is talking about trading down and taking Landon Height in the second round and then grabbing Abdul Carter or another edge in the first. He makes the point that Height has more raw power, but the other prospects have better twitch and bend off the edge. And look, if I am drafting an undersized pass rusher, I would prefer the one with better burst and flexibility around the corner rather than somebody who only offers marginally better power. I think that bend and twitch around the edge is impactful at the NFL level. Now, I will say there is a decent size gap in the power department. Height added some good mass for the combine, which matters because he was playing in like the 220s during the season, which made him a really weird fit for some schemes. But here is the thing, Sinjin. I think you are actually more likely to be able to get height in the second round than you are to get some of these other edges at pick 12. I do not think certain guys are going to make it to 12 unless there is something we do not know about off the field. So you might be able to have your cake and eat it too in the end. Alex with a great question asking about the worst case scenario for the Cowboys at picks 12 and 20. And honestly, this is the nightmare that keeps me up at night. The worst case is simple. All the defenders are gone. Every edge rusher the Cowboys had targeted goes off the board before pick 12. The top linebacker prospects are gone. The safety you wanted is gone. And maybe on top of all that, the medicals on certain guys come back concerning, and you cannot trust them. So picture this. You are sitting there at pick 12, and all 6 or 7 defenders you had ranked highly are already wearing different hats. All that is left is offensive linemen that you do not need and receivers that you cannot justify taking when your defense is this broken. In that scenario, boy, you better hope someone is calling to trade up because that is really your only solution. If nobody is calling, you have to figure out who your defensive version of Tyler Booker is this year. Whoever that guy is that maybe was not on your radar as a first rounder, but you trust him to develop. What you are acknowledging in that wiped out scenario is that you missed all your defenders by at least one pick and you are scrambling. So let me ask you all this. What is your concern level over that nightmare scenario actually happening? Drop a 1 through 10 in the comments. 1 means you are not worried at all, and 10 means you are losing sleep over it. I want to see where Cowboys Nation stands on this. Now, we have got to talk about something that genuinely has me concerned coming out of this combine. Jared McCoy out of Tennessee did not work out. He said he needed more time. And look, going into the combine, there was no player I wanted to see more than Jared McCoy, and let me tell you why. We have seen Ezekiel Elliott in a Cowboys uniform more recently than we have seen Jared McCoy on a football field. Let that sink in for a second. That is how long ago his last college season feels. It feels like 10 years ago. So I was really hoping to see him out there testing, seeing what kind of shape he is in, getting a feel for whether this guy is ready to contribute right away or if he needs a redshirt year. When a guy does not work out and says he needs more time, that worries me. We will have to see what it looks like at his pro day. He also did not come in as big as I thought he was going to either, which is a slight concern on top of everything else. Here's the thing, Cowboys Nation. This team cannot take a redshirt year player. They just do not have the luxury to do so. The defense needs help right now, not in 2 years. So would you still draft Jared McCoy, knowing what we know now? Drop a Y for yes or N for no in the comments. I want to see where you all stand on this one. Ryder with a super chat asking about best and worst case scenarios, which I kind of touched on, but let me expand a little more. Best case is a lot of top tier defenders are available for you at 12. There is no run on edges or linebackers between picks 2 and 11. You walk up to the podium and your guy is sitting there waiting for you. Worst case is they are all gone. There is a run on defenders between picks 2 and 11 and another run between picks 13 and 19. And you are sitting there at both picks like, well, now what do we do? That is your nightmare scenario. Someone asking who is most likely there for the Cowboys at pick 12. And that is a great question. If they are moving on from their strict medical requirements or from those arm length requirements they have almost had as non-negotiables, then I think it opens up some options. If they do not budge on those requirements, it gets dicier because I do not think certain guys get to you. Some of these edge rushers are going to fly off the board. I am not so sure some of the safeties make it to 12 either. Fernando asking for some draft tidbits from under the combine. and I have got a few for you. There has been a lot of buzz Sunday and Monday about Monroe Freeling potentially going as high as pick 6 to the Browns. That is an offensive tackle for those who do not follow the draft as closely. And hey, if a tackle goes off the board early, that is a win for the Cowboys because it means more defenders slide down. I also feel like there is a real chance both Certain and Jeremiah Love go in the top 5, which would shake up the board significantly. I am also of the belief that if a guy did not test at the combine, he is slow, or at least slower than he wanted to show. You do not skip testing unless you are not going to hit the numbers teams wanted to see from you. Quick non-Cowboys note, but Kyler Murray is gone. He is not coming back to Arizona. I was front row for the Mike LaFleur press conference, filming it for our Cardinals channel, and the difference in how he talked about Kyler Murray versus how he talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. was night and day. When asked about Murray, it was basically, we have communicated, but I am not going to talk about him. When asked about Harrison, it was, oh my God, what a great human being he is. Completely different energy. That tells me Murray is out of there. Jacob Marshall with a loaded comment saying, draft a corner at 12, draft C.J. Allen at 20, get Quincy Williams' brother in free agency, get Kobe Dean, and also get Minkah Fitzpatrick. Maybe the Cowboys are going all in. I will say, I do not think you need Williams and Dean and Allen. 2 of those would more than suffice. But Delane and Allen at 12 and 20 is something I would absolutely appreciate as an outcome. You still have to go get an edge or 2, but that would help you significantly. Someone asking if Osa is not a good fit for Christian Parker's defense, should you trade him for a draft pick? Look, it is a fair question, but I think he can fit. Here is the issue, though. You do not save hardly any money with an Osa trade. It is less than $5 million. And now you have to go get another defensive lineman to replace him. If you are going to be running 5-man fronts, even just 30% of the time, who is going to take those snaps if Osa is gone? Winfrey and Toya and Solomon Thomas as starters instead of 4th and 5th defensive linemen? That gets a little dicey real quick. I would rather restructure Osa and keep him around. If you really do not think he is a good fit, you can always explore a trade next year. That option is not going anywhere. William asking, would it be easier to sign a linebacker and edge rusher in free agency and then draft a corner and safety? And I think just from an ease standpoint, the answer is yes. There are plenty of edges available in free agency. There are a lot of linebackers too. I think at least one of the corners and one of the safeties will be there for you at 12 or 20. That path is definitely something you can picture working out. Someone asking about a Kenny Clark restructure and what that would look like. A straight restructure would save you about $9.6 million, which is decent, but all it does is push that money onto next year's books as dead money. It does not actually solve your issues beyond this upcoming season. An extension would be different. You could take all the money he is owed this year and next year, guarantee it, make part of it a new signing bonus, add a year or 2 onto the end of the deal. He gets more guaranteed money. You reduce your cap hits. Everybody wins. The complicated part is I do not have a great feel for what his market looks like. Is he going to be asking for $20 million per year? That is what he is owed the next 2 years, essentially. But are you going to give him 3 years, $60 million and guarantee more of it? At that point, you could just restructure him instead. It is a much more complicated situation than something like the Brandon Aubrey deal. All right, Cowboys Nation, that is going to wrap up today's show from Radio Row here at the NFL Combine. I appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, dropped questions in the chat, and sent those super thanks through. This community is what makes doing this every single day worth it. If you are not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button right now so you do not miss our coverage tomorrow and every day this week. We are going to keep bringing you all the combine intel, all the draft breakdowns, and all the free agency updates as they happen. Drop a comment letting me know who you want the Cowboys to draft. I read every single one of them, and I want to hear from you. Until next time, Cowboys Nation, take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next one.